the NBA draft lottery has always been rigged. And really, whenever a team loses a big star, they get rewarded with the number one overall pick. It goes back to 2011. The Pelicans trade Chris Paul to the Clippers, and then they get the number one pick in 2012 to select Anthony Davis. Then in 2019, the Pelicans trade AD to the Lakers, and then they get the number one pick to draft Zion Williamson in 2019. And then most recently, the Mavericks trade Luka Doncic to the Lakers, and they get the number one pick of the 2025 NBA draft, where they are going to select Cooper Flagg. And as this person points out, don't forget when LeBron left Cleveland in 2010, the Cavs got the number one pick in 2011, and they ended up getting the number one pick 3 out of the 4 years after LeBron left. You can't even make this up.
Yeah, he was cooking on that one. You know, the NBA draft, the NBA itself is just a very odd
The Los
situation.
Angeles Clippers have been one of the...
There we go. Turn that off. The NBA draft has just been extremely a very odd situation, though, because he brought up some good points there, but also, I mean, going back to like the Patrick Ewing, and I feel like there was another draft that I'm blanking on, or another draft lottery situation, but LeBron James should be the most egregious one. And then also, you know, this one that's happening with Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. They were slated to be like, I mean, they had to jump like, I want to say almost 10 spots to get to the number one spot. So that stuff just never happens. And the Dallas Mavericks, there's some other stuff that was going on with them though, but I'm gonna let you get in there to get your point, MC.
What's even more egregious is the Cavs got those 3 number one picks when Brian left, and they did absolutely nothing with it. Got nothing out of it.
Well, they had Kyrie, and it kind of worked out when LeBron came back, though. But
when he came back, until he came back, they got nothing with those 3 number ones.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas had a 1.8% chance to get this first pick, and I kind of, and this is just theory. I'm normally would like to substantiate stuff, but we working with theories right now. Nobody has proof. We can just speculate. 1.8% chance. And I knew something was up when Mark Cuban did an interview, and he said on multiple platforms, trading Luka, it didn't make sense to him. He's still an owner. He's not the majority owner anymore, but he still has some ownership stake. So that's telling me that the people up top ain't even talking, and they're not agreeing, and they're not lining up. So right off the rip, man, I didn't trust this. I don't know how they got this number one pick with so minuscule percentages. And I hate the draft lottery system, period. I think they implemented it to prevent teams from tanking. But at this point, come on, man. Players want to win. Go ahead and just give the worst team the top pick. This is a trash system.
Yeah, I don't know what people are going to do about what's that guy's name? Nico, is it Nico Harris or Harrison? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're going to do about Nico, because how does he know? I mean, most GMs are probably going to get fired in this situation. We trade away a franchise player. But Nico, what did he tell them? Like, hey, I know something. I got something in the woodworks. Like, you had this ready to go, or you got to be extremely lucky. And when you're a GM at that level, there's no luck involved with this. This is all organized. And Adam Silver, he's got of the teams that could have potentially, got the number one pick, because everybody's going after, is it Cooper Flagg? Is the guy that's at Duke? Yeah. All right, so everybody wants Cooper, so he's supposed to be the big name, but you can't let Cooper go to DC, and you can't let Cooper go to Philadelphia, because those two teams are incompetent. And then Brooklyn, I mean, you definitely can't let him go there. Like, I mean, I just don't see those 3 teams like really getting a franchise player, or a player like Cooper Flagg, though, because when it comes to like teams that he probably would fit in well with, it's either going to be Dallas, Denver, or maybe Utah, because those teams seem to be a little more open, having their franchises led by people that are absent of color. So that's what I think.
Denver's already got that slot filled, though. But what the NBA, in my opinion, what they prefer even more are their big market teams being competitive and still in the playoffs right now. I'm pretty sure they're happy that the Knicks are still fighting, They probably feel some type of way about the Lakers getting kicked out. But I think generally speaking, in my opinion, the NBA favors these large market teams. Now, that's going to be a problem for them this year because theoretically you could have Indiana and Minnesota in the finals. And they
Yeah.
probably don't want to. I mean, basketball purists like myself will be just fine with that. But these people that follow these players in these big markets probably ain't going to tune in. The NBA was probably they probably wanted to counter that in some
Yeah.
way.
Well, and this is something that was floating around. The idea is that the Dallas Mavericks ownership team wanted to move the team to Vegas, and so I'm pretty sure the Bay Area has a roadmap set up for Vegas, but they did not want Dallas interfering with that. So maybe this was a hey, we're gonna you guys can get rid of Luca, but we're gonna make sure you get the number one pick, so you do have to stay in Dallas because that would, I mean, they could be, I mean, I don't want to say easily, but because the owners still have to vote on it though, but that would have really messed up the plans for the NBA though. So I don't know. I don't know how the NBA can really explain it, or Adam Silver can explain how some of these teams that lose their franchise players are somehow become lucky like the following season. And Cleveland was pretty much the most egregious one. Like 3 out of 4 years getting number one picks. Like I always thought that was weird too. And that's when Dan Gilbert had his son before he passed away at the draft lottery, which is kind of wholesome. I guess that's why some people never said anything, just because it was his son. But it was still kind of like weird when you look back on it though, and it's like, you guys are getting 3 picks, and that was a pretty big event when LeBron left. So.
Yeah, and first of all, taking the team out of Dallas is absolutely nuts. Dallas has a pretty. I mean, the Cowboys have been trash forever, and those fans still show up. So Dallas has a pretty good fan base, and it's in a state where you're not paying income taxes, and it's in a state that's increasing in population while other states are shrinking, or city, I should say. So it would be absolutely nuts to remove a team from Dallas to Vegas and then try to make that back later. He's better off just staying put in Dallas, and they just keep working on that strategy to get Seattle and Vegas back in the mix and hopefully push Memphis to the Eastern Conference, because them playing in the West is absolutely ridiculous. But this is how you know the NBA is losing confidence. Like, our people are losing confidence in the NBA. Dwayne Wade has been openly criticizing this draft lottery system ever since this happened. And he's been one of the biggest ambassadors for the league during and after he played. But
Dwayne Wade,
this is not a good look.
Dwayne Wade, the architect of the Big Three?
The architect of the Big Three, yes. Pot me cattle. I got you. But regardless, he's calling out this draft lottery system. 2 separate issues, but I see why you would make the connection.
Yeah, Dwayne Wade. It's hard for me to take Dwayne Wade seriously when you pull up this article you just brought over. But anytime Dwayne Wade shows up to have like kind of a conversation, I'm like, man, where's the fingernail paint? Like, what is this about? But and there's other stars coming out about this as well too. So it's interesting to see that. I'm really surprised Dwayne Wade said something, honestly.
I try to keep it basketball when I talk about him, because when it comes to basketball, he can talk that talk and he backs it up. But that off the court stuff, yeah, man, I ain't rocking with that stuff at all.
Yeah, one that I forgot about was the Victor Wembanyama. The Spurs definitely got gifted the Victor sweepstakes. But so the NBA is in survival mode. They're also competing against I don't want to say they're competing, but right now who's still in some of their shine is the WNBA, and specifically is really Caitlin Clark. So the NBA, I think the WNBA.
That's a bold statement, TR. I know you like Caitlin Clark, but that's a bold statement.
I think Caitlin Clark's a phenomenal player. I recognize the talent. All I'm saying is that when it comes to like eyeballs and excitement, Caitlin Clark seems to do a little bit more of that. And if the NBA gets the Indiana Pacers and the T-Wolves in the finals, I can tell you right now that is going to be a very low rating affair, and everybody's going to tune out and start watching some other material that's out there, which is going to be WNBA or really Indiana Fever games, because Caitlin Clark is still, bringing in eyeballs and bringing in revenue. basically carrying that league. So the NBA, I understand why they're trying to keep Dallas where they're at, and then also get a team to Vegas, and then the next step is to expand to Europe. But they got to keep everyone happy in the U.S. first.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because if you've been watching these playoffs, these have been some of the best playoffs I've seen in a long time. Like there's been lots of upsets. For the most part, after the first round, the games have been really, really close. And I actually picked the Celtics to win the whole thing, and they're more than likely going to be eliminated. And this is great basketball to watch, man. It's competitive. You got a lot of young stars trying to make a name for themselves right now. And I think that's what's motivating them. But I would argue that this is one of the better seasons that I've seen in a long time. But I could just be saying that because I'm also a Pistons fan. They finally are back in the playoffs.
Yeah. So, all right, we are going to wrap that one up and go to the next topic, which is